Thank you. Getting fired from a job can be a depressing experience. Nonetheless, a period in between jobs can be the most profitable, the most valuable thing that ever happened to you. Thomas Carlyle once observed that the luckiest man of all was the man who had found his life's work. Once a man has found work to his liking, a job that fulfills his potential, makes the most of his abilities, he's on the road to happiness. But let's not kid ourselves. Being without work usually involves a great test of nerves and endurance. If you've been fired, the first thing to do is honestly to analyze the reasons you didn't fit into the last job. There's no disgrace in being fired. It happens every day to thousands of otherwise talented people. Vaughn Shoemaker was just starting out on his career as a cartoonist. He'd quit high school and enrolled at the Chicago Academy of Fine Arts, where somehow he flopped miserably. Finally, the director took him aside and told him, "Look, you're just wasting our time and your own. You'll never be a cartoonist if you live 1,000 years. We've got a big waiting list. Drop out and I'll give you back your tuition." That piece of sad news turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to Vaughn Shoemaker. I'll tell you why after this word. When the Fine Arts Academy director expelled Vaughn Shoemaker with the brutal suggestion that the student had no talent for cartooning, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It led him to do a most illogical thing then. He put some work samples under his arm, went up to the Chicago Daily News and asked for a job. To his surprise, he got one right away, a job drawing thumbnail sketches for a joke column. Within the space of a few days, curious things began to happen in that newspaper's art department. One cartoonist after another left the paper, leaving only Shoemaker to fill in. Shoemaker said to the head of the department, "It's up to you. Draw something, anything, until I can find a cartoonist." Well, Shoemaker drew a cartoon of John L. Lewis and the coal strike. It was accepted and ran in the paper just as he had drawn it. Within a few years, Shoemaker had some 10 million readers, was awarded 2 Pulitzer Prizes, and was regarded as one of the finest political cartoonists of his day. If you've been fired from a job, you've got to gear yourself for a rough go. Use the time you now have to reassess your abilities and limitations. And remember this, being out of work is work itself. It demands the best you've got to offer. And while it may not seem so now, it can be the best break you've ever had.